Welcome to the show. My name is Jeremy Poole, and I'm the host of The Moment on Real Estate Social, where we explore and celebrate the necessary transformational process you must go through to achieve a high level of success. Today, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're at a brand new setting of The Moment. We're super excited for season 3. Yes, today we have two good friends of ours, Paul Trudel-Payne and Emily Goodrich of Duo Realty Group, and I'm so excited. As you guys know, as you're aware, the show's called The Moment.
Yes.
Paul, we'll start with you. What would you consider being a major defining moment that has propelled you to where you're at in your career? And then next we'll jump to you.
Yeah, I think for me it's, I guess the way that I look at it is a bigger scale. So a lot of little moments have to happen to make this moment feel like it's impactful.
Sure.
You know, I grew up in Yakima, which is a small migrant town. My grandpa and grandma were migrant workers, and yeah, I think like coming from that background and just knowing my parents put me in a private school, and my older brothers were in public school and didn't do so great. And we just came from an area where there was a lot of gangs, and it was really poor. And to then be shoved into that world of private school, and people had money, and I didn't see any of that. Like, you know, we had a house, my grandparents have a house next door, and my aunt and cousins and everybody lived in that house. So everyone's sleeping on couches and beds. And so that's where we came from. And I think being shoved into that world really opened my eyes to something that I didn't know could happen. But somehow I realized that if I could get out of this, then something good is really going to happen.
Right.
And so I've thought that way forever. And I think when I was 19, I read The Secret. And I don't know why, but really got obsessed with it in my head and started saying, like, you know, by the time I'm 28, I need this to happen, this to happen, this to happen.
Yeah.
And everybody thought I was crazy because, like, what? Like Emily would always say,
like what happens at 29?
Yeah, you're gonna die. Like, yeah.
Is the story over?
But it happened. Like, I just had said that since I was 19. Like, 28's the year. Like,
That's awesome.
I'm gonna have my job. I'm gonna probably be married. I'll have a home. Like, everything grew, and that happened. I was 28, and I left corporate America, and we started this business. I got married when that happened. We just purchased a house when that happened. Everything culminated at 28. And that realization, I think, of all of those things happening really made me realize I literally can do whatever I decide to do.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. At that same time when that book came out, The Secret, it totally changed my life too. Someone told me about it, I read it, I bought the video, and I probably watched it, not even joking, I probably watched it 24 times.
Yep.
Oh, for
and
sure.
I was giving it to my friends, and it was like the main topic for me. So that's fantastic. At that same time, a lot of people were creating these like vision board videos on YouTube.
We just did our vision boards with our team yesterday.
That's awesome.
So it's our annual
That's awesome.
day where we put our vision boards together.
I love that.
Yep.
I actually have talked about this a few times. I have an entire bedroom in my house that is kind of / office, but the whole wall is one massive vision board. And I do something a little bit different. I take stuff that's like in the future that I want to achieve, and then stuff that's like right around the corner. So anything I put on the board gets achieved. But
That's great.
Okay.
you're next.
I've thought about this a lot because,
Okay.
like, I think for me, it's a time I don't talk about often.
Yeah.
Or I try to make light of it.
Okay.
That's, you know, I just make light, or I breeze over it so I don't have to dig deep, because for me, it really was a time where if I wouldn't have gone through it, you're right, like I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And we would not have been, if I wasn't in that almost like rock bottom place, then I wouldn't have been pushed to discover what the next level could be.
Right.
And for me, it was really different. Paul and I worked in corporate America together.
Yep.
And I, from a really young age, like I was running my first company at 24.
Good.
I was always really ambitious and an entrepreneur, and I was always like an executive level of management. And
So basically, I've always rocked. So
I always worked hard.
yeah.
And I know it, like, even 10 years ago, it wasn't the world it was now, where you could be like, that, like he jokes like this term boss babe or whatever, you know, it was still, I didn't tell my employees how old I was.
Okay.
because I wanted to be respected.
Sure.
I think it was always like this internal thing for respect. But I was running a company that Paul and I were at together, and I reached this place where it was probably the worst time of my life.
Why is that?
I think like the culture wasn't a great fit. I know this sounds horrible. And I don't talk about this side of it, right? I don't dig deep like this, but I was working for men. Everyone above me was male.
Sure.
I was a young mom. I realized I was working so hard and all in an environment where that wasn't returned.
Gotcha.
Right? Where sometimes you were just a number.
Yeah.
You were very replaceable.
Right.
And I came back from my second maternity leave, what should have been like this amazing time. I had this new baby, and it was really, really hard. And day one, the first conversation was, we need more from you.
We need more from you.
We need more. And I remember I left that meeting in tears.
Wow.
And thank God I had this best friend.
Yeah.
And he was like, let's do this. Now is the time. Let's do this.
Really?
Let's do this. We can do this. But to step out on your own, right? You're not
Yeah.
representing someone else's company anymore.
Sure.
It's just you.
This is
Totally
incredible.
exposed.
I think you guys kind of gave me a little bit of this in previous conversations,
Maybe.
but this is fantastic.
These are our feelings.
Yeah, this is great.
This is our deep,
Like,
this
look,
is our
yeah.
deep
Yeah, well,
side.
Jeremy, I barely knew you. So.
I would actually be ill. Like I would be ill driving to work.
I'm sure.
I would call him crying.
Wow.
And actually at that time he said, do you want to read The Secret? And I was like, you are so crazy. How is that going to help me? Like, I'm calling you because I don't know what to do. I need my salary. I need this job.
Sure,
I
sure.
have 2 kids
I have real
now.
life.
I got bills
Yeah.
to pay, crazy man. Like, stop calling me and telling me we should open a business together. But I think if I wasn't so desperate, right? If
Okay.
I wasn't so like clinging to a bigger idea of what we could create together or what we could build together outside of the confines of someone else's limitations.
Sure.
And I listened to the Audible for The Secret like every day on my way to work. I think that if not, I would have just like turned the car off the freeway and went home, right?
Right.
And just given up, but not been like, what's gonna come next?
Sure.
And I think we sat down and decided literally, the world just came together for us. And yeah, if I hadn't have been in that moment, if I hadn't have had all those experiences of realizing what we could have built together, I wouldn't have taken the plunge. It was
Yeah.
the scariest plunge I've ever taken because
Sure.
everyone's like, oh, it sounds so easy. No, like sleepless nights and pacing at 2 a.m.,
I'm
waking
sure.
up, being like, we're on our own now. We're on our own. There's no company, there's no salary.
Yeah.
It's you and I, families, babies. We gotta make it. But I think that was my moment of realizing you have to believe in yourself. Right? Like
Certainly.
you have to believe that you can do something. You don't need to fall back on someone else's description of your role.
Right. Right.
So
Wow, that's fantastic. That's incredible. So how long from the time that he was telling you or asking you, hey, let's burn the boats, let's go do our own thing, to when you actually were like, screw this, let's go do our own thing?
Oh, a while.
Was it a while?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
talked about real estate for a while, but from when I was in that place, I came back from my maternity leave in January.
Mm-hmm.
I actually came back 2 weeks early because my company needed me.
Oh.
Right? Like that's the sacrifices that you step back
Wow.
and you're like, what am I doing?
Right.
I can have it all.
You're right.
I can have it all.
Sure.
It doesn't need to be sacrifice,
Sure,
sacrifice,
sure,
right?
sure.
So that was January.
Uh-huh.
I was licensed, signed up by May 22nd.
Good.
So
Good.
by the time he was like, okay, let's do this. Let's really, really do this. I hadn't even signed up for a real estate class.
Yeah.
So, and we did a lot of research in that time together. We visited a lot of places. So that was,
So what was your experience level, real estate specific, prior to you guys deciding? Was this something that you guys have talked about, or hey, let's start a business and real estate looks pretty good?
it's different for both of us.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, I loved just homes since I was in high school.
Yeah.
But my parents were in the medical field, and
Sure.
like becoming a real estate agent was not the route I needed to go.
Sure.
So so I didn't do that. But for years, I mean, when she left the company, I had left a year and a half maybe before that.
Yeah.
And had trying to get her to leave then, but she
Right.
wouldn't. even then, I think she was just like, stop talking about it. So I would start talking then to her husband, like, well, you should do this. Like,
Someone come do this with me, please.
I just know like the way that I work, like we were both in like executive management roles, but like I just work way better when like there's someone to play off of.
Sure.
And it feels more comfortable.
So what was it about her that caused you to keep going back to her? I'd imagine you had other colleagues that you probably had good working relationships, but what was it specifically about her that said, babe, we got to do this?
Yeah, we just
I'm super charming.
I'm incredible.
Don't you know me?
We have like really similar work ethic. You know, like we, I don't know, there's not like a lot of people that will say like, I'm going to come back early, right, from maternity leave. Like I would do things not when I'm supposed to do them just so that they would get done or dedicate time. And I just think when you find a person like that, it's a different type of person because they're not getting paid for it. They're not getting, I mean, in our company,
we're not getting paid.
We're not getting paid or acknowledged for it.
Right.
So I just think like I knew that that person was going to be someone who's going to put everything they have into the business.
And that is so absolutely incredibly important. This next question kind of plays off of to what we're talking about is both of you have a robust background in working in corporate America. And I can say this from personal experience. We've done some things outside of this show, and you guys are on point. You're very professional, you're very organized. As somebody who works a lot with other people in the real estate industry, sometimes that's not the case. But you guys came into the real estate business with a lot of business background, a lot of organizational skills that I think gave you a big advantage. So being that you had a big background in corporate America, how do you think that helped you going in to start your company? And what do you think that you did a little bit differently that allowed you guys to achieve such a high success so early in your career?
Want me to go?
Yeah.
So I think there's two different levels or two different areas where it really helped us. Obviously just the ground, like grassroots skills, right? Like we can manage and we could build a team, and he did recruitment, I did onboarding. Like we really saw a value of building the team, building a company. We have a 12-week jumpstart training program all new agents go through. Like we really could pool those resources. But I think what's most important to us is we worked within someone else's culture. That we just realized it wasn't the right fit for us. And what we wanted to build when we sat down, we saw this as so much more than just, let's start a company, but let's start a culture.
I love that.
Let's own this. Let's own what we're going to bring our people to and have people want to work with us and be family with us. And I think what's so important to us is community and family and inviting people into that. And for us, really having the message that we just have an agent who came back from maternity leave. Someone else just got married, celebrating life together and not saying, and not saying you have to go sacrifice to be to make this, to be great. Here's what you have to leave behind.
That's fantastic. I love that. And that's part of the reason why we're doing some of the things that we've done in the past and in the future is that making money shouldn't be everything, right? Clocking the hours, working hard, that's a big part of it. And being human and accomplishing things in life, but that shouldn't be everything.
But why can't you have everything?
Like
the message is always, you gotta sacrifice, you gotta hate your job, you gotta grind over here, and you gotta leave. But we wanted to say, no. Here in our space, we're gonna help you be wildly successful. Take that trip, have that baby, and love life. Like if that's not what we're doing daily, then
we're screwing up.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic.
I think with real estate, what we saw too, like on top of that is, for some reason, there was a lot of like not getting back on time, or like everyone complains my agent doesn't call me when I text them, or I don't get a response in email, or even us.
We
just
can't even get agents to call us sometimes.
I mean, it is insane. So I felt like, because I think yes, we are really great, but I also think, and we tell like anyone we're interviewing or meeting with, like I do think that there is a certain amount of like, it's not a lot of effort to go in and just say like, I'm going to do the bare minimum of customer service by responding to an email, by answering this phone call, by just being polite. And you already, I would say, are going to be a 50 to 70% higher, right? Like,
Sure.
because it's just, that's what, and even if it's not true, that's the mentality of the public, right?
Right.
This is the experience we
Right,
had.
right.
So I think
Yeah.
when you can just help someone understand, like, this is the bare minimum of customer service, so you just apply that.
Right. Start there.
Yeah,
Start there with just
start
returning
there.
phone calls and things like that, and then you'll shine.
The rest is easier, right? Like
Right.
the rest
Yeah.
is easier because it's just
Everyone's
innate
happy
skill.
and
yeah.
But we,
satisfied.
from our backgrounds and who we are too, we decided like we want an experience.
Right.
We want this full service.
Sure.
So our
Lifestyle.
clients are family to us too now, right?
Right.
We have a family page that they're all on. We do events with them. We
Right.
wanted to not just say this could impact, and like stepping back, sometimes we don't realize now we have employees and we have a team, like all these lives that we've been able to touch, right?
Right.
Like the majority of the people on our team, they are the breadwinners in their family.
Mm-hmm.
And we've now created a whole infrastructure of community of all these families have been touched.
That's great.
And now we've extended that to our clients, and it is fulfilling. And I think that's where we didn't realize how fulfilling real estate could be.
Wow.
It just lined up so perfectly.
That's great. I'm happy for you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So something that we haven't really talked about is I understand there's been another expansion. You guys just
Yeah.
launched DuoHome and Duo Investments.
Yes.
Why haven't I heard of it?
Brand new.
And
Breaking news.
And what's it about? And why did you guys decide to do that?
When we jumped into real estate, like I think this was the corporate background, is we came in saying we have to have a brand.
Okay.
So whatever brokerage we join, that's not we
Sure.
should benefit from it, but
Definitely.
that's not our
Doesn't
brand.
define us.
And we knew like you always plan for the end game. So it's not just how this year or next year will be, it's
Right.
like what happens in 50. And so for us, it was always like, we're going to build a lifestyle company.
Love it.
Like
Love it.
that's
A
just
lifestyle company.
from the ground up. And it'll involve real estate, and then how can we branch off of that? And so whenever we listed, whenever we met with an investor, we staged the home. A lot of times with investors, we'd help plan what we thought the inside remodel should look like, or the
Sure.
exterior. And just doing that so many times, and especially this past year, we've just listed a lot. We started having people at open houses asking for the
Yeah.
designer's information, and can they come and redo the home here? Or,
That's great.
And so we just said like this
This
is
works.
it.
Yeah,
this
is
the brand.
it was organic.
Yeah.
And we realized we were doing these things
Already. Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt
and
right.
let's really package this to provide more value to people.
Sure.
And it all came together so nicely.
Okay.
To stay in our place of passion too,
Yeah.
right? And stay
Yeah,
with our team
right.
and contribute more to our clients. So yes, now we are running 3 companies.
So this is now live. Where can people go to find out about all of this?
So it's something I'm working on every night, this website. But it's called myduohome.com.
MyDuoHome.com. Okay.
So it's going to be going live really soon. There's a landing page, so people
Awesome.
can still go and get signed up and
And so that will encompass the
everything. So
Realty
it's-
group, the investment piece, and the home piece.
Yeah, it should
Yes.
be like one-stop shop for anything home. So
And
Okay.
by the end of 2019,
Yeah.
the store,
yes,
so the online marketplace will be
Oh.
open where you can
purchase
buy
DuoHome
Home decor. Right? 'Cause-
Yeah.
You talk as if I know about this.
right?
A actual
We'll send you
online store.
our first
Yeah.
throw pillow.
Okay, sweet, sweet. So you have a whole line of stuff coming up?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Really?
it's-
Yes.
We've been
What?
working on it forever. Yeah.
Do you guys have like magical elves doing
Yes.
stuff?
No.
They're little kids. We keep having them so that they work in the evening. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I honestly had no idea. That's really impressive. So here's a question that I've been wanting to ask you guys for quite some time is working with friends, working with family, working with your spouse can be incredibly hard to do. You guys seem to rule at this. So the question I would have to ask is, what suggestions, what tips do you have for people who are working with their spouse or working with your best friend in your case? Because you guys seem to do it really well.
Thank you for that. I think first off, it's ever evolving. It's ever, like we don't know what we don't know, and
Sure.
Until you're in a situation with someone. I think we also have like totally different approaches and opinions,
Right.
and
That
I think
always
that's
helps.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
always
helps.
helps.
And you have to say like, this is a good thing, not like, oh my gosh, why don't you see the world the way I see the world, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And honoring that person.
Yes.
And I think we have a very long history together, and we've known each other
Which
since.
comes with just so much respect and
Yes,
appreciation.
yes, because I think if it was just like, oh, my coworker who works really hard,
Right.
we wouldn't be where we are
Sure.
today. I think that because you have to have that trust and that background
Yes.
and that person that you know, oh, we might like. Sometimes we go and we're business owners for a while,
Yeah.
but you're like, we got to pause and go back to like, nope, today we have to be friends, or
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can be
That's
in the
smart.
middle.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like being in a relationship to
Yes.
where it's like, yeah, we have kids and we have
Yes,
stuff. And
but
we
you
have
gotta go on a
businesses.
date. You
But
gotta, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so for us,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we're making these big decisions. We talk, we carpool together, right?
Right.
Like we are on the phone constantly.
Wow.
I think I talk to him more than anyone
Wow.
in the world,
Wow.
but you
Yeah.
still have to pause and be like,
And still be best friends.
Yes, let's be friends. And like when we go on vacation, we travel
Yeah.
with our families a
Wow.
few times a year, and we try and just be friends.
That's a gem. I mean, honestly, right there, I've asked a couple people this, but nobody has given me such a good answer. And I honestly mean that. Like, that's a truly great answer, is that you have to date still. Or you have to
You have
go
to
have
laugh.
fun.
You have to laugh
And have
and
play dates
yes,
and
yes.
laugh and still be what you were.
Yeah.
Right? Still have that romance. It's just a different kind of romance.
Yes,
You just have to be, I think, more clear.
Yeah.
Like we are really direct of like, we'll say like, we're friends now. We're gonna have this talk and be friends.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because
Right.
if we're business owners,
It's
a
one way.
different
It's one way.
Yeah.
Or how we make decisions, or there can be, we still at the end of all this, like it's been 10 plus years of now half of that is owning a company together,
Right.
but the first 5 is just
Wow.
being young and in our 20s and ridiculous. And we've both gotten married. I've had 3 kids since we've met, and Paul's been there Paul's the godfather to all 3 of my
That's
kids,
great.
and Paul adopted a son. Like we've grown up, really.
Wow,
I mean,
yeah.
we pretend we've grown up, right? Like we pretend we're adults, but yeah, it's a layered, like any relationship on that. It's
Right.
layered and it's
Right.
deep, but at the end of the day, I think still both of us, we know everything about each other.
You know what's interesting? I forgot the book, but just recently I was reading a book and it talked about this couple, and they have this great marriage. It's been like 65 years. And he talked about the importance of you have to continuously fall in love.
Yeah.
Like she's always changing, I'm always changing, and the person that we were when we first met has changed, has evolved. And so hopefully you can rediscover each other, and hopefully you like that new person.
Yes.
Yes.
And it
yes,
sounds like
yes.
you've done that.
You have
And-
to just constantly like say like, I'm not me without this person.
Sure.
Like she makes me better. I do this because she's there.
Yes.
And when you like lose sight of that, right? Like that's I think
Yes.
where the problem happens.
Yeah.
And I've seen
If you lose sight of that.
yeah,
right,
when you
right.
lose sight of it, and it's the same as a marriage.
Totally.
I think honestly,
Yes.
Yeah.
I probably work harder
At this relationship.
than I do in marriage. But it is a great thing because it's a different level, and we get to sit down and say like, we have hard conversations.
I'm sure.
Because we're committed to keeping it going, right? And if you're not committed to the bigger picture, or you're not committed that this person fits into that bigger picture with me, I don't think people will have those conversations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's never, this is a replaceable person. And
Right.
that's the other thing is,
Right.
so we don't look at this as a business partner that I
Sure.
can go find another.
Totally.
This is a
Like,
family
I need
member.
you and
yeah.
you need
Yes.
me. And
So,
that's such a good
yeah.
place to be, right?
Yes.
To be in a situation, like going back to the whole situation of working for corporate America, is that I need you, I need my paycheck, I need
Yeah.
the stability.
But you don't need me,
But you're
because you'll find
behaving
another one.
as
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
don't need me, and you're
Yep.
treating me like that, and that never
Exactly.
feels good.
Exactly.
Yep. And I think what we've learned more recently too is you have to want to grow together.
Yes.
Like I have
Right.
to not only like love, obviously, thank goodness we're not who we are in our early 20s.
Sure.
We have to continue to love like as we've grown up together.
Right.
But there's been times when he's like, hey, I want to open a business. Well, we both have to 100% have that
Yes.
vision
and
together
share the same
and grow
vision.
together. Or
and that's
say,
why the secret goes back to the
yes,
secret.
yes. Or you're going to drive this vision, or I'm
Yeah.
driving this vision
And then
over
you end up
here.
apart. Yeah.
Yep. And then it will, how will that work together?
Right.
So,
It is the secret. It is every year when we do those goals.
Yeah.
And we do not do them with a team first.
Right.
We at least briefly chat.
Yes.
So that we know when we
You're
come in,
casting the
this is
same-
our same
that's
thing.
beautiful.
So the same numbers, the same goals, the same
Yes.
everything has to happen here. And the little differences just have to be put in, sprinkled
So
in
read the
throughout.
secret, create a vision board,
Yes, yes. We were driving the other day.
do play dates.
We had a long commute, and so I was like, "Let me tell you my 10-year plan. I need to make
right,
sure this is
right.
your 10-year plan too." And he was like, "Okay, let's do it in 5 though."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, that's the 5-year plan."
Last question. Why is this the year of yes? And what does this mean? And how is this going to affect your lives going forward? And here's a question I wasn't planning on asking you. Is being on the show a part of the year of yes?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
All right.
We,
You don't know what he had to do to get me here. Not because I don't love you, but
Sure.
it's just it's out of the comfort
Sure.
zone, right?
All right. So what's the year of yes?
Yeah, I think it's a book, right?
Okay.
By
So another one to read by Shonda Rhimes.
Okay.
Shonda Rhimes. So like Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, okay.
all, you know, the creator
Right.
of all of that. So we love Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy.
So that's where
show.
it started. But yeah, it's her story of how she decided she's successful and everything's happening, and she realized she's saying no to all these other opportunities. Like, no, I don't want to go meet the president, or no, I don't want to do
Out
these
of
things.
fear.
Because of, you're
Right.
fearful.
Totally.
And so she made a commitment and asked her friends and family and everybody around her to help her stay with this commitment, that anything that she was fearful of, she'd start saying yes to, and see how that changed her life.
I started doing the exact same thing a couple of years ago, no joke. What happened, I started wanting these things that were outside of my character, outside
Yes.
of what I've done in the past. And I said, hold on now, do I want it? Yes. Do I honestly think I can do it? Yes, I do. Well then, if there's fear attached to that, then I took that as like a sign from the universe
That you should do it.
that I should do it.
Yep.
And everything went well, like literally launching this show. I have no experience prior to a year and a half ago of being on camera or doing events. And so every crazy thought that came into my head that literally scared me,
Yep.
I do it. And every time I did it, everything just fell into place.
Yeah, it's like you grow just enough by doing
Just
it, right?
enough.
Just
Yep.
enough.
Just enough.
And that's what we sort of decided is, let's try it.
Yep.
Let's challenge our team to try it, and we're just going to start doing stuff. That's honestly
Wow.
why we did the video with you to begin with.
Right.
We had
Right.
seen everybody do these things,
Sure.
and of course it was like, yeah, let's get on video, but we'd always laugh it off or do
Yeah.
an excuse to not do
Totally.
it.
To like really put yourself out there.
It's scary.
And
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's scary.
And so now I just know at this point about every other month he's going to call me and be like, we're on a radio show. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we're doing a
we're-
presentation to
Yeah.
20,000 people.
Yeah, so it's
But I'm the
been
like,
good.
what is it called? Like the barometer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, because I just like live with anxiety and like constant.
Sure.
So I know that if I'm getting to like this level, this is for sure what we should do.
Yes, right.
So when I get to that level, that's when I call her
And I
and
just
say,
trust
"This
him.
is what
And
we
I'm like,
should do."
okay,
That's
like
awesome.
he
Yeah.
knows he has to pull me to do it.
Right.
But it's good for us. And so let's do it.
And what's so cool about this is that you learn how capable you really are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, what else have I been slacking? My wings are growing, but how much wider, how much bigger could
Yeah.
they be
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
just kept doing what I was afraid of?
Right.
And it's like we were just at, I think you were there too, like conference, and someone was speaking, and they were talking about just the way that they grew up. Like, how could I ever sell $1 million homes?
Right.
And so he didn't.
Kevin
right?
Sturdivant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I had that same, our first year, that was the same mindset. Like, oh, I'm not going to wear a suit. Like,
Sure.
I'm not going to do that. Why am I going to?
We still don't.
We still
Yeah.
don't.
dress
But something happened because we changed the mindset. And then now we are selling $1 million homes, but our
Great.
clients are showing up in sweatpants. So, it doesn't, like, I can live the way that I want to live, but still have the things I want. Just had to find a different person that really appreciated that.
Wow. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it's been a great time having you guys on
Thank
the
you
show.
so
thank
much.
you so much for
Thank
having
you for
us.
pulling her to be here. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited to have you here at our new setting of
Yeah,
the
it's
show.
It's
gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah.
So thank you guys, and thank you for watching. Tune in next week and every week after that for more amazing guests just like this. We'll see you soon.